Prince Harry is set to release the paperback edition of his memoir Spare, but readers looking for even more royal secrets will be disappointed. Reilly Sullivan is a reporter here at skynews.com.au and he joins us in the studio. Reilly, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Tell us about the new version of Spare. So we're not going to learn anything new, is that right?
So finally, 2 years later, we're getting the paperback version of Spare. But as you said, there will be no new information at all. It's a complete reprint of the hardback edition. And this has really taken publishing insiders by surprise because generally when you're publishing a paperback edition, you do add new chapters, an epilogue, even something short, maybe at the start, discussing the book, discussing the publication of the book. And there's none of that. There's not even a new photo for the cover. So it's that classic headshot of Harry that we all know very well now. And it's going to be a complete retread. So a little bit disappointing, I think, for people who are looking for more royal gossip, looking for more royal secrets.
Yeah.
But I think a massive relief for the royal family.
Maybe he's exhausted them all. Or maybe he's learned his lesson and he doesn't want to reveal even more and make some more money off selling secrets. But look, speaking of books, this week the Royal Foundation revealed that a charity cookbook Meghan Markle created 5 years ago as a working royal is continuing to raise thousands of pounds for charity. How did this book come about, and is there a sign that there could be potentially a bit of life left in Meghan's personal brand?
I thought this was a really interesting update. So the Royal Foundation, they've released their sort of annual report looking at funds that have been raised, and it was this cookbook. And it was actually published about 5 years ago, of course, when Meghan was still a working royal, way back in 2018, which seems crazy, but that's already been 5 years. And that was published around the time, not long after the unfortunate tragedy at Grenfell Tower, when unfortunately a lot of people passed away. And this was Meghan's big initiative that she really spearheaded herself. She worked with women who were affected by that tragedy. They came together, they shared their recipes, they shared their culture in this cookbook. And it was very popular at the time, but it's continued to sell. So it's raised something like £80,000 this year alone for charity. And I think it's a really wonderful legacy for Meghan. You know, obviously there's so much controversy around the Sussexes nowadays, you know, now that they're not working royals. But I think it's just disappointing because it goes to show that when she was in the royal family, in the institution, you know, part of it, she was doing really good work.
Prince William and Prince Harry are both scheduled to be in New York at the same time next month for separate events, though. What do you think is going to happen? Is there any hope that they'll actually be meeting face to face?
Right. Well, you know, as is expected, people are already excited about this trip. They're speculating that maybe William and Harry could meet up in New York. Look, they're there for completely different events. William's there for his Earthshot Prize charity, which is the signature foundation for the Prince of Wales. Harry is also going to be taking meetings because it's during the UN Climate Week. So it's a very important week. It's a very busy week. I personally don't believe we'll see them together. I think that they are estranged. I think that, you know, there's been opportunities when Harry's been in London over the past 12 months for them to meet, and they never have. So unfortunately, I don't believe that we'll be seeing Harry and William hanging out in New York.
Well, I have to agree with you, but we'll wait and see. You never know.
You never know.
Sarah Ferguson has broken her silence on possibly being evicted from the Royal Lodge alongside her ex-husband, Prince Andrew. What did she have to say about this?
So as we often discuss on this show, there's constant speculation that Prince Andrew will be evicted from Royal Lodge, and of course he shares that home with his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, and she is out there. She's in the media a lot. She's always doing interviews, and someone finally put it to her. They asked her point blank, you know, what do you think about these reports that you and Andrew are going to be evicted? And at first she sort of danced around the question, but the interviewer, I have to credit them, they did follow up and they said, you know, how are you feeling about this? And she was very kind of melancholy. She said, look, I take every day as it comes. So even though she didn't, you know, necessarily address it directly, that's a very vague answer. I think that goes to show that there's certainly smoke where, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire with this whole Royal Lodge situation. Because, you know, if there was no truth in the whole Royal Lodge eviction story, she could have easily just said, that's not true, we're there, this is our home, it's been our home for 20 years. But she didn't. She refused to sort of discuss it. But, you know, we talk about these royals as if, you know, they're being evicted from their home, that they could be homeless. And realistically, Sarah Ferguson, we know, owns a $5 million home in Belgravia. Andrew also has other properties. So I don't think that they're exactly going to be on the street if they leave Royal Lodge, but we'll see. I have a feeling that they'll be out within the year.
Interesting. Yeah, I think they'll be okay. Well said, Reilly Sullivan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to see you.